Okay, I'm Wilma Hoffman. I'm the chairwoman of the Bright Futures fundraiser tonight. I hope you're all having a nice time. I'd like to introduce Jill Konopka from Channel 3, who is going to introduce Jeffrey Dressler. Okay.
Good evening. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you, Wilma Hoffman, a dear friend of mine. We met a couple months back in November. And I have the great honor this evening of introducing to you the Master of Ceremonies. That is Attorney Jeffrey Dressler. I know he's coming back out from out in the lobby area, but he is a very well-known personal injury, wrongful death, and accidental death injury attorney, and he's not only admitted to the bar here in the state of Connecticut, but in Pennsylvania and Puerto Rico as well. He's done so many things for this city. He does a lot of multicultural and bilingual awareness, as well as creating the Mega Education Stay in School Scholastic Incentive System. The program has been so successful. It's seen a lot of expansion as well, and we are honored to have him as our Master of Ceremonies. Let's give a big warm welcome round of applause, Attorney Jeff Dressler. Okay. He's running. I know. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
About her? Yes.
Yeah. You tell me about going over Mount Washington in a Chinook helicopter? You tell her she's a certified spinning instructor? Did you tell her that she is planning for a half marathon, right? A couple of years ago? All right, and I have a photograph of you in my living room. My wife doesn't like it, but she's gonna have to live with it. Ladies and gentlemen, we are ready for one big night of action. We're going to have a big night of action. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a fundraiser for the Bright Futures Youth Center, San Juan Sports Center, talking about a lot of history. This is really important. In a world of might, we listen for the voice of compassion. We are the ones that set the examples. Without a goal of complete social justice, our children will never benefit from the much-needed repair of this fractured world. In Hebrew, it's called tikkun olam. Now, maybe in our lifetime, we're not going to achieve it, but we're all the better off for trying, because our successes will be measured in the lives that we touch, and that is the important thing. As Ezekiel says, the prophet, seek ye the welfare of the city and where you live, for in its well-being, therein lies, or in its welfare, therein lies your well-being. Now, Bright Futures provides recreational and educational programs after school and keeps a lot of kids off the streets and gives them a good start. These are at-risk youth. We teach them good study habits, responsibility, respect, and most importantly, self-esteem. The funds are received through state, city, and local grants. Wait a minute. This just in. Mayor Pedro Segarra has just quadrupled the allocation for the Bright Futures Youth Center. Thank you very much, Mayor Segarra. Wireless technology, huh? Okay, so these programs benefit kids from 5 to 18 years of age. The office opens at 9, closes at 3, gym opens at 3, and closes at 7. There's boxing, music, karate, dance, courses on education, drugs, violence. We've had a wedding there, correct, Senor George? Wedding, we've had every community gathering possible. I don't know if we've had, have we had any bar mitzvahs? No, we are now open for bar mitzvahs. All right. And if our children are truly the builders of our future, then we need give them the proper tools. We have to instruct them. They're the ones that will be running our institutions, the universities, the corporations. So in a plea, Mr. Mayor, for all the development that's happening, we don't want to make our children a byproduct. We want to make them the product of Hartford, and probably so. Our first, and I have to get the mayor out of here in a hurry. I thank you for being here. I know you have an activity and that you're going to be homeless unless you get out of here pretty soon. That'd be like a turtle without a shell. I first knew the mayor as a prosecutor. Tough guy, South Bronx. We never tried a case against each other. Lucky for you. But I got to tell you, his style was impressive. I was so impressed that I unrelentlessly sought him out to be my law partner. And I was fortunate enough to practice law with Mayor Segarra. And then he went to the Corporation Council, then he went to the City Council, and now here's Mayor. And who knows, if you do quadruple the budget for the Bright Futures Youth Center, I could see it now. Hillary and Pedro, huh? Could happen. Mayor, no one said it was going to be easy. I know we spoke many times when you had your law offices next to mine. And I do not know, I imagine you look up for solace. I'm sure you don't go to the press for solace and a shoulder to cry on. But you've been there since the City Council, and we appreciate all that you have done. But I got to tell you something, you're not responsible for it. HUD redeveloped all of the housing projects. And what they did was, some projects they knocked down. But they knocked down all the gyms. They knocked down the gym at the Charter Oak Boxing Academy and Rice Heights and Charter Oak. They knocked down Johnny Duke's gym in Bellevue Square. The San Juan Center, Bright Futures Youth Center, was always the hub. It was a hub of New England, not only of Hartford. But now, it is the place. This is it. And we need this place for our children. Countless lives have been saved. We lose one every once in a while. That happens. But we're going to see some of the lives that I'm very proud of, and now are taking their part in Hartford as productive citizens. But we need to support this center because it is serving over 325 youth from Greater Hartford. This is it. This is where they come. Some don't have mothers, some don't have fathers. And I'm going to tell you the history of this when I introduce a young man later on. So, Mr. Mayor, its sustenance, its well-being depends in large part on the city of Hartford. I want to be your partner again. We want to be your partner again. Sorry to corner you like this, but opportunity knocks. Can we count on you? Shake your head, yes. That's all you got to do. We'll speak later on, right? Okay. All right, now I can call you up. We had to get a commitment. We had to get a commitment. Wilma, will you help me on this? You got to come close. Let's make a Pedro sandwich. Talk first.
Good evening. Buenas noches. And thank you all for being here. I am not a person, no soy un político que le gusta prometer lo que no puede entregar. But what I would like to do is to set up a meeting in my office between whoever is here that thinks that they can be helpful to the conversation, and there has to be a way. I feel very bad because the San Juan Center was the first stop that I made for help when I came to Hartford. And at that time, I was basically homeless. without any schooling. I had just dropped out of high school in New York, and they helped me get in the right way. So I feel an immense sense of gratitude and debt to the San Juan Center, which has evolved into the Bright Futures Center. So whatever I can do, let's have the discussion. I'm committed to helping. That's not a problem. We know resources are limited, but then I also know that you folks have been doing a lot of stuff, a lot of good stuff, with very little funding, because what has driven you to work with our youth is your hearts. You have very good hearts, and that's something that money can't buy, but you also need the money, because you need to pay light, you need to pay water, you need to buy the kids food every so often, you need counselors. So let's get together with the Director of Recreation, let's get together with the President of the Council, let's get together with people who are here who know how to do these things. And I'll commit to you that if we can find the money from within the budget, we can do it, okay? So that's my commitment, is to work with you to get things done. You have Mr. Betancourt here. He can be at the table. He knows how to get money. He knows how to go through the budget and say, here it is, okay? So thank you for inviting me. Disfruten de la cena. Se le agradece al licenciado Dressler. I know that you do a lot of stuff with our education system, with our community. I am committed to help. I'm committed to help. How much money did you want, by the way?
How much did we need?
Yeah.
Just give us a blank check. We'll fill it in.
Okay. I'll do that.
Can't get away that easy. Mayor, we have, because you have been a supporter of the gym in the past, and we appreciate it, this plaque is presented to Mayor Pedro Segarra for your generous contributions to Bright Futures Youth Center, and it's dated today, May 18th, 2013, and we now have an official partnership with the Mayor of Hartford. Thank you.
Disculpen que me tengo que ir, que hice como San Blas, ¿verdad? Pero tengo otro compromiso. Este es compromiso número 8 hoy día, y es sábado. So, gracias por recibirme y suertes a todos. Gracias.
You signed up for the job. Pedro Segarra, Mayor of the City of Hartford. Thank you, Mayor. Why not? A free meal, right? We're going to talk about you when you leave. All right. This next celebrity I have listened to for approximately 55 years. From Channel 3, he was on from the 1958 through the 60s, and it was the Brad Davis Show. This was Connecticut's answer to Dick Clark's American Bandstand. Saturday afternoon, teenagers dancing and drinking milk. Who would thought, huh? Drinking milk. In the 60s, made the Brad Davis on TIC radio. I don't think I listened to that hootenanny stuff. I didn't listen to that. You broadcast it from high schools and colleges. You have emceed. I bet you didn't know Brad Davis has a speech impediment. He does. No, he does. He cannot say no. He has emceed countless, thousands of events for every charitable cause known to humankind. He just celebrated his 36th anniversary as morning man at DRC AM, and he's comfortable with state leaders, people from the street. He's comfortable wherever he goes because he's very comfortable in that skin. He's a tremendous supporter of Bright Futures Youth Center. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce to you Mr. Connecticut, Brad Davis. And he is sporting a Bradfro.
God, when I think of Hartford and I think of Jeffrey, think of the riots, I think of everything that happened, and here we are tonight. I have three favorite words, and these are the words that I think of when I go out to speak, and I do a lot of that. But these are the three words I think of when I think of someone that's been a friend of mine for 35 years, and that is George Cruz. George is special, and George really typifies passion, inspiration, and hope. Because without that, these young men and women would not have any one of the three, but they do. I thank you for inviting me tonight, George. I really do. You are a dear friend, always have been, and always will be. And as far as I'm concerned, as long as the good Lord gives me the strength, I'm going to continue as a broadcaster, and whatever you need, whatever I can do, we will do it together. God bless you, and Semper Fi.
That comes from the ex-Marine. This gentleman did his program from his hospital bed after having his hip replaced. Our next honoree is someone that I think that Hartford takes for granted. I really do. This gentleman had national, international recognition. He's a dignitary of the world of boxing, and he's a gem that should be appreciated because he has done so much for Hartford with the recognition and bringing a world title fight to Hartford. This gentleman knocked out Mark Breland for the WBA welterweight title. He knocked out Lloyd Hennigan to win the WBC welterweight title. He's a Connecticut Boxing Hall of Famer. I just signed him up. He is available for any action role in movies if anyone is interested, and the love scenes are optional. He is the two-time welterweight champion of the world, Connecticut-grown, Hartford's own, Marlon Moochie Magic Man Starling. Starling.
Well, I've been around the sport of boxing in this area for at least 45 years. I'm not quite as old as a lot of the old guys here. But I was blessed with the determination to greet a lot of the dignitaries in the state. When I started, like I said, back in the early 60s, I told my mom I wanted to go down to Bellevue Square to box. She told me, "You're too scary to box." So I said, let me see Johnny Dope. I went down there, and I got the opportunity to fight for a world championship. I've met Brad Davis, a lot of the older gentleman that was in the sport of boxing back then. I mean, me and Willie Pep was the best. I mean, when I first fought on CBS, Willie Pep was in my corner. I got the opportunity to fight for a world championship. And at that particular time, I didn't have a real corner man. It was this younger Puerto Rican guy down Bellevue Square named George Cruz. I knew that George Cruz can push me to win a world championship. But every now and then, me and George Cruz go at it. we had a training camp in Holligen, Texas. I mean, in the morning it was almost 100 degrees. George told me, Moose, you can do it. Just do what I say do, and we can do it. We've ran, I'm talking about in temperatures of 95, we ran 5 and 10 miles. And then we left to go to Columbus, South Carolina. And I fought the Olympic champion, Mark Breland. The first round, Mark Breland broke my nose in the first round. I come back to the corner, George Cruz said, don't worry, you got him. I said, you talking to me? He said, Mooch, you can do this. He's not supposed to be in the ring with you. In the 11th round, I broke his heart, and I became the welterweight champion of the world. And from that day to the day I passed away, I owe this condition to George Cruz. We should give a hand to him. And you know, working with Bright Futures, back in my era, it was predominantly all Afro-Americans at that time. We get in that gym and we fight. One of the things about Bright Futures, not only is the kids learning discipline, they're learning how to be good citizens. And that also should be a praise to George Cruz, because he's helping out. He's getting the people to make us help out. I see a lot of kids on the street today that come through Bright Futures. And if they're doing wrong, if they see one of us, or one of the alumni in the gym, they give a second look. Me, myself, I'm proud to be affiliated with Bright Futures. And I hope everybody have a good evening. Thank you.
Marlon Stalin. There's always a team that supports every center. And these are the people that work behind the scenes. They're like invisible. And they get the job done. They're the people, when called upon, are there, always. They're the people that, when they're about to turn off the heat, because the heating bill hasn't been paid, they step up. The people, when we have a tournament coming up, we need a new mat, gloves. Kids don't have any wrappings. No questions asked. They're there. They're the people that help keep it open. George has a great way of making things happen and establishing a family. Like throwing that little pebble in the water, and that ring goes out. And it just engulfs us all. Through 23 years, George, you've enamored yourself to others because of the kids. So tonight, we'd like to recognize some of the people behind the scenes that have helped out, more than helped out, that keep the doors open. This gentleman recently became a member of the Bright Futures Community Center. He's a contributor, a supporter, and he's a friend. And that's the most important thing. George doesn't go after their pockets. He goes after their hearts. And when he has their hearts, then we have another friend in the gym. So today, we want to say thank you and present him with a plaque. Alan Raphael, please come up. Another North End boy. This plaque is presented to Alan Raphael for your generous contributions. Bright Futures Youth Center, eternally grateful. Thank you very much, Alan.
Thank you, Jeffrey. I just want to thank George, his brother Amato, who I went to Weaver with in 1961, Marlon Starling, Moochie, who will always be a champ, who will be remembered 100 years, 200 years from now, from every resident of Connecticut for the pleasure he gave them in the athletic ring. I try to do what I can, and hopefully that will be sufficient. George, God bless you. Thank you, Jeff.
Amato, I got to tell you, you're one of my childhood heroes. You know that? I don't know if I ever told you that. My brother in the orange sweater graduated Weaver. Don't ignore it. Don't deny it. Freddie Dressler, 1960. 1 year behind him. I didn't have a name till I was 15. I was always Freddie Dressler's little brother. And we have our cousins there. All right. So Amato was the hottest thing in Hartford. He, in sports, papers had his name in headlines. And I think you were one of only 4 Puerto Ricans in Weaver at that time. You did Weaver proud. Tu hiciste la raza orgulloso. You made your people proud. And we're just really glad to have you with us. Honest to goodness. When I see you, I get a tingle. Don't know if I ever told you that. We have another friend of Bright Futures we'd like to recognize. He's been a family member of Bright Futures for the past 10 years. He's donated turkeys on the last 10 Thanksgivings. We have a lot of people with speech impediments, don't we? He's assisted neighborhood families when in need, and he's always been attentive and supportive of all of our needs at the gym. So today, we want to thank and award him this recognition. Come on up, Dave. Dave Gannon. David, this is for your generous contribution to Bright Futures Youth Center. You've been an example for the kids when you come down here, and everyone should see the people who are behind the scenes that make this happen on Thanksgiving and the other 364 days of year. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I've been involved in Bright Futures for many years, and they do a tremendous amount of work for the youth and the families in the city of Hartford. And I consider George a go-to guy in Hartford. I remember 2 Christmases ago, he called me up and he said, Dave, I need $500.
That's George.
And I said, what's up? And he said, a family's house burned down and they have nothing for Christmas. And they came to me looking for something. And I said, no problem. We'll get it for you. And thank you, George. You show me what life is all about. Thanks.
That's beautiful. From the heart. Our next honoree is an amateur boxer. He's been a member of our family at the gym for the past 6 years. He's loyal, respectful, helpful individual, and he electrifies when he fights. This year, the center would like to present him with an award, and we want to call up Jose La Puerta. Sweet.
Yeah, I want to thank everybody to come.
Stay tuned. Next time his next fight, you got to come out. Our next individual with great pride is a scholar athlete. Straight A's honor student in the Glastonbury school system. She's excelled as a boxer, but more importantly, as a human being and as a honor student in Glastonbury. Respectful, polite, and she adds so much to Bright Futures. As a matter of fact, so bright she should be wearing sunglasses. So today we'd like to present her with this award. Please come up, Karen Maria Gonzalez. Honor student. Bright Futures Youth Center presents Karen Maria Gonzalez, the High Honors Educational Award, May 18th, 2013.
Thank you so much for this award. You guys are helping a very good cause, because without this program, I wouldn't be doing a sport. Like, I really wouldn't. Like, I like boxing. Like, yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Don't forget about us when you become rich and famous, okay? Okie dokie. The next person is the duct tape, the glue that holds the gym together. This is the person that makes George look good. For all that George does, this is the conduit. She's been with the center for the past 8 years, and she's the assistant to the director, King George. She's entrusted with everything. She does so capably and with heartfelt dedication. She's the one who makes George look good, trust me. She helps coordinate every event. She's here when it starts. She's the last one to leave. And because of her, Bright Futures has an excellent system there that will work as long as she makes it work. So today we want to thank you with this award. Andrea Montero, please come up. All right, behind every successful man, right?
I just want to say thank you. I'm not good at speeches, and I'm a little nervous, so thank you.
She's a doer. Our next honoree is an outstanding boxer from the center. He's added another dimension to the word dedication. I think we should call him 3D, right? Another dimension. In a short time at Bright Futures, he became one of our aspiring young boxers. He's seen a lot of tough times, as a lot of kids have, but he's been strong enough to see them through with the sport with his mom and, I guess, his second mom, George. The trainers at Bright Futures think he's one of the most talented boxers ever to walk in through the doorway. And today, we want to award you a plaque, but we want to say we're proud of you. And we want you to know that we're watching you, and we're here for you. Please come up, Sherrod Collier.
I just want to say thank you to everybody who came, and I want to give a special thanks to my trainer Pi and Marlon, because they're the first two people who showed me my 1-2, and without them I wouldn't know, my fundamentals of boxing. I want to thank everybody who came, and I love boxing. Thank everybody.
Good job, man. I don't need a script for the next gentleman. I'm going to try to hold it together. I represented this young man's father before he was born. He was one of the 10-year-olds in 1992 that hauled out of the gym with wheelbarrows, the dead rats, the refrigerators, and the trees. We had to go outside and pee on the wall. There was no bathrooms. This is for HBO, isn't it? When the gym was finally constructed, the kids in that gym wrote on the wall in 3-foot letters right behind the ring, "This is our gym. We are family." And that's what Bright Futures has been. It's been a family. But this young man could not enter the gym unless he attended school, unless he went to school. George was all over him. His mother was in the gym every day. He couldn't train unless he did his homework. He lost his first fight. Champions don't quit. He got up and he kept fighting. He was the former, I should do this at the end. I got to do this at the end. He is presently on the board of directors of SODO, South Downtown Revitalization Zone. He is presently the president of the Puerto Rican Parade, which will be hosting 50,000 Latinos in about 2 weeks. He's the president that handles the Maria Sanchez scholarship pageant every year. He's the manager of a law firm of over 35 employees occupying 3 different buildings. He is the go-to guy. In his free time, he's a son, a husband, a father. He is the former National Silver Gloves champion and the former Junior Olympic National champion. He is formally ranked #1 in the country, #4 in the world. Ladies and gentlemen, here is Sammy Vega! Hold on for a second. I got a couple more things to say. Sammy, you're not aware of it, but when I talk to people, this is the guy that so many guys like to say, "Oh, I've been like a father to him." You're the one that people would want to associate and take credit for. But I got to tell you, it's been easy because you were born with a good seed. Thank you, Lord, maker of miracles, who has brought us here tonight and enabled us to celebrate this night and to provide a community with young men like Sammy Vega.
Trophy. A lot to say. I'm gonna mix it up. I'm gonna mix it up because I want my mom to. Oh, okay.
Alright, you just gonna go to not that one.
Come on up here.
It's a fight, right?
That's it.
sigue, que tú puedes.
All this is because of my mom. She kept me focused. Make sure I went to school every day. And the boxing definitely made me who I am today. The reason why, because I met so many people, so many that helped me. I know people that groomed me, the person I am now, especially a Tony wrestler, Jeffrey. He showed me how life is, and the reason I'm the president and I'm serving many board members, because Jeffrey, I mean, you done a lot, you know, family. But the gym, one day, George, you gotta tell me your secret. You gotta tell me your secret, because I seen gyms falling, you know. The Bright Future have been since '92, and again I've been in the boxing program for many years, and I seen gyms going down, even great gyms. But George has a secret, and hopefully he can tell me one day, because I want to keep it going, George. I want to keep it going, and thank you, George, for helping my family. Someone Center. I lived in the gym. Literally, I lived in the gym. And again, I want to, Pitolita, I want to recognize Pitolita. He just got an award, but Pitolita, yo era como tú. I was just like you. And again, I was ranked #1. I was pretty, actually well known in the nation as a boxer. But you know what the boxing taught me? How to use my head. And school was first. I didn't turn pro. If I wanted to, I could have. I don't know if I would have been a world champion, but I think I had a good chance. But you know what? What the boxing program taught me is, they taught me how to use my hand, but taught me discipline, and school was first. Like Attorney Justice said, George used to stop me every day, ask me, did you go to school today? And if I said no, I couldn't get in. If I didn't do my homework, I couldn't get into the boxing program. And at that time, it saved me, because everybody know, Hartford was pretty tough back in the early 90s. But you know what? If I wasn't for the boxing program, or any program, you know, well, I'm not going to say I would have been in here, because, again, my mom, she's a great mom. She kept me focused, and if it wasn't for the boxing, I'm telling you, she would put me in something else, you know. But everything you see here and this, actually, is from my mom. Right. Thank you. And for the young kids, keep it up. I know boxing is something just to keep you focused, but you know what? School. I'm telling you, when you graduate from college, finish high school, go to college, and get that diploma, that's forever. No one can take that away from you. You know, even though if you're a great boxer, but you know what? A boxer can't fight with one hand, you know? And you could, well, I'm telling you, school is first, you know? Keep up the good work, and I want to thank everyone. And you know what we need? We need the help of the community, too. We need to keep this one center, the bright future, you know? And we need more gyms like this. Because if we have more gyms like this, I'm telling you, Hartford will be, well, to me, it's one of the best city, town in the nation, you know? But we can make it better. We all can make it better, you know? So thank you.
Don't go yet, don't go yet. I want everybody to know that I have a boss. The center has a board of directors, and the chairperson of the board of directors is Sammy's mom, Leonore. And I'm proud to have her as our board of directors, because Lenore was there from day one, walking up and down the streets trying to set up cups in different stores to raise money so that we can buy boxing equipment and so forth to get the place started. And she's been here since day one, and now she's the chairperson of the center, and you know, her heart is there, so that's why she's there. You give her a round of applause. She deserves it.
And lastly, definitely I want to thank my grandmother for making my grandparents for making my mom, and also my sisters, my family, my aunt, and especially my lovely wife, Leslie, for giving me 3 beautiful daughters. Again, thank you, and Jeffrey.
I neglected to mention that Sammy is also the executive director of Mega Education, a scholastic incentive system. He coordinates approximately 70 schools for incentives, scholarships, you name it, making it happen for the citywide math, literacy, vocabulary bowls, spelling bees across the city. So Sammy walks the walk and talks the talk and is putting his emphasis on education. And Sammy, you did turn pro. You look great in a double-breasted and a tie and suit. Again, our next individual really needs no introduction. No, we have something else? Why don't you stay up here with me?
One thing I wanted to say, again, I know he complimented on my suit, but keep buying suits. Because again, when I say he groomed me well, actually, this is one of his suits, you know. So keep buying more suits. You know.
Stay up here
You
with
know
me.
one thing about the suit? I want to do the same thing he's doing for me, what he done for me to others. So I'm gonna take her this suit because I want to give this to someone else and let them know that, you know. So, thanks.
This next individual was scouted by the majors for a ball player. He's a former entertainer, amateur boxer, boxing trainer of world champions. I should say too numerous to mention, but I think they want me to mention them. He's a Connecticut Boxing Hall of Famer. He even has a corner of Hartford named after him. That's pretty good. George Cruz Corner. He's trained Marlon Starling, world champion, Tyrone Booz, Hall of Famer, Julian Solis, world champion, Tyrone's a world champion also, Eric Harding, John Scully, Angel Nito Vasquez, Marcus Jackson. I'm going to tell you all the titles that they will be here until midnight. Milt Kuda Leaks, Luigi Camputaro, Sean Malone Jr., the list goes on. He's promoted boxing events in Bridgeport, New Haven, West Hartford, Hartford Civic Center, Norwalk, Westerly, Rhode Island, and he put together 2 internationally televised ESPN bouts from that little gym on Main Street, Bright Futures Youth Center. That was all him. He's the one that had it built. When I mean there was dead rats and trees and refrigerators and no bathrooms and just a small space, it's all been George. No one knows what your secret is. It's like Coca-Cola, you know, they have a recipe and they're not going to tell anybody. But George has mentored so many of our youth. We had youth that could go either way. We now have firefighters, police officers. From one of the gyms, we have someone I believe is in his 3rd year of law school. This is what the gyms do. But it doesn't happen without an individual. It has a team, but that team has to have always has a leader. John Steinbeck said, the only people who can truly know your story are the ones who helped you write it. That's you, George. He's been a father to many, a mother to some, and a true friend to all us all. This guy is holding way too much cool. Ladies and gentlemen, would you please welcome Mr. George Cruz. George, we couldn't fit the statue in the car, so we're going to have to settle for this plaque. Bright Futures, It is the lone worker who makes the first advance in a subject. The details may be worked out by a team, but the prime idea is due to the enterprise, thought, and perception of an individual. This is a quote from Sir Alexander Fleming. George, there's not enough we can do for you. The kids of Hartford love you. We all thank you for what you've done. And I thank you for this young man and many like him. We have Felix Cruz at the end. All right. George Cruz, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Jeff. First of all, I want to say thank you to everybody. I mean, first from people like Brad Davis, who've chipped in when we were down and out, needed his help. People like Alan, who recently stepped up to the plate. Mike McGarry, Denise Best. The list goes on and on. Person like Dave Gannon, who's always been there for me from day one since I've met Dave. An individual that I can't say enough about him because he's all heart. I mean, the guy is, Dave, I love you, let me put it that way. Eugenio, my cousin, Cesar Renata Rivera. I mean, as I look around the room, there's so many people that I really have to give thanks to because it's a team, it's a teamwork. You know, we work together like a team. Recently, Fernando Betancourt has joined the San Juan Center, which is another organization which I used to be affiliated with before. But since he came into the fold, I'm affiliated with him again because he's a tremendous individual who does nothing but help in any way that he can. And John Wilson, who is one of our counselors who works with the kids. And needless to say, my staff. And I don't want to leave something out. My brother Amato. He's been like a role model for me all my life. I love you, Amato. And I also want to give thanks to my wife, Carol, who is always there for me, my support. A person who we don't hear a lot about or a lot from, who's a very valuable person to the center. He's there for me for whether it's the training aspect, the watching of the gym, the maintenance, you name it. He's there for me. He's like my brother. I love him. Angel Vasquez, Sr. Bye. I want to thank Nito for being here. I just noticed that a very good friend of mine, who's been a friend of mine through the Amateur Federation since I first came in years back. He looks a lot younger than me, but that's probably because he is. But let me say this to you. He is a dedicated guy to the kids in the area. He's given a lot of his life toward the kids in this area. Today, he's a world champion referee. You might see him on HBO or Showtime. Not that that makes him a better person, because he doesn't need that to be a better. He is who he is, a great person. Ladies and gentlemen, John Callis. John, stand up. John Callis. And we're going to try to talk him into being part of our family shortly, I hope. Anyway, thank you very much, everybody. And before I leave, there's an award here that I got to do. Let me see that right there, please. This award is presented to Jeffrey Dressler for your generous contributions to Bright Futures Youth Center, and then the date. And let me say this to you. Everybody says there would be no Bright Futures, there would be no San Juan Center Sports if it wasn't for George Cruz. Wrong. If it wasn't for people like Jeffrey Dressler, Jeffrey stepped up to the plate when nobody else would. When we were holding our hand on our behind, pardon the expression, it was Jeffrey Dressler who was there for me. And by being there for me, he was there for the kids. Through the years, we have our squabbles, but you know what? I have squabbles with my brother Amato, but I love him. And it's the same thing with Jeffrey. And whenever I need him, he's always there for me, regardless of what. And he's always there for the kids.
Everyone who's here tonight, your mere presence speaks volumes of your commitment to the community. That community, the well-being, and that peace lies our well-being. So continue to support the center, come out to all of its activities, and we'll press the mayor to help out like we said in the beginning, okay? Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. This concludes the program.